And I'm here with comedian Jeff Allen. Jeff, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm walking upright and I'm on the right side of the dirt, so it's a good day.
Well, tell us a little bit about how you got started in comedy.
Comedy, oh wow, this is going back to 1978. I was 22 years old. I was working for a jewelry company and we had a late night setting up for a jewelry show and somebody took me to a comedy club to go grab a bite to eat and I got hooked. And I started going to comedy clubs and I got really lucky. By 1980, there were more comedy clubs than comedians, really. So I was able to work and make a few bucks and be bad at something, and while I learned the craft of stand-up comedy. So it was a good thing.
So you talk in your act about raising two boys. What was that like when you were on the road all the time?
Well, certainly different than today. I just FaceTime. We just sold a puppy, and I was able to FaceTime with the puppy. So when you're on the, back before cell phones and all of that, it was hard. It was difficult. She would tell me things that the learning to walk and talk and all those things. But I only have one skill set, and that's doing what I do. So a lot of fathers travel.
Right. I understand your son was in the military. Were you ever in the military?
No, I'm a wimp actually. I'm a patriot, but I'm a wimp. If I was in the military, I would grab the first general walking by and tell him, "Don't tell me anything you don't want the other side to know, because I know me. I'll tell. I will. I won't hold out long." So, but we're proud of our boys' service.
So, what would be one of the favorite comedy sketches that you share?
Oh, they're like children. You don't have a favorite. I just like stand-up comedy because the response is immediate. I acted in a movie last year, and I think it's coming out in April. I had a few lines in a movie, and it's a different type of artwork. I prefer the stand-up comedy because it's an immediate response.
So can you share with us a couple of jokes to get the crowd laughing?
Well, I tell stories. That's what I do. I tell stories. I'll tell you my favorite church joke. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you, there's a story behind it. I had got saved when I was 40 years old, and I had come out of casinos and nightclubs for over almost 20 years. And I was doing my first church. I was in Las Vegas when 9/11 happened. My wife called me in tears, and I couldn't get home. There was no way to travel to get home, and I remember telling my manager that I wanted to find another place to do what I do, and I thought, actually, I wonder if churches would hire me. Well, anyway, I finally got hired by a church. When your resume is 20 years of nightclubs and casinos, pastors are a little hesitant to give you the pulpit for 45 minutes. So anyway, I got a church, and I called a friend of mine up who was pretty entrenched in the Christian marketplace. And I was nervous. I said, I don't know how I'll be received in the church. After all these years in nightclubs, I work clean, but I didn't know how I would be received. So anyway, he prays with me, and he tells me this joke. He says, here's the joke. So anyway, before I tell you the joke, I fly into Pennsylvania, my first church ever. I get picked up at the airport by two guys I don't know, and we're driving, and it's awful quiet. I don't know if you've ever been in a car with strangers, but it's awkward when there's no conversation. And then finally the guy in the back seat says, "Well, I guess I should let you know what you're in for." And it's like, oh no, what is it? What kind of church is this? I don't know. Snakes? I have no clue. So anyway, he says that there was a pastoral change at the church, and half the church loves the new pastor and the other half is ready to leave and start their own church. It's a pretty divided church. So you're our first event as a comedian coming in to try to kind of heal us up. And I think, oh my gosh, you mean Christians don't get along? I didn't even know that. I was a brand new Christian. I thought we all got along. So anyway, here's the joke. Guy stranded on an island, all by himself out there, and 20 years alone on this island. And one day he spots a ship off into the distance, and he lights a fire, and he flags a bunch of smoke, trying to get the captain's attention. Well, the ship sees him. They bring the ship over. The captain takes a small craft, rows to the shore with 3 other guys. Now it's the captain, his three assistants, and this man. And the captain's looking around the island, and he says, "You're the only one here?" He goes, "Yes, sir. I've been out here by myself for 20 years." And then he's looking around, and he says, "If you're out here alone, why'd you bother building 3 houses?" And the man says, "Well, that first house is the house I live in. That's my home." He said, "The second house," he said, "that's my church. That's where I worship." And the captain says, "Well, what's the third house for?" He goes, "Oh, that's the church I used to go to." So, anyway, I told that joke that night to this divided church, and I thought it was an apropos joke. So anyway, I kind of waited to see if and they all laughed. So that was a good thing. But that's my favorite church joke.
Well, to close out this interview, tell us how one can book you at their next event.
JeffAllenComedy.com. Just go to the website, JeffAllenComedy.com, and everything that you need is on there. And you can Google Jeff Allen Christian Comedian, and or corporate comedian, clean comedian Jeff Allen. Any of those search words should bring me up.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We certainly enjoyed you.
Thank you. Have a great day.